The moment Clara set foot in the old Whitmore house, she noticed the coolness of the hallway. It was the kind of chill that seemed to seep into her bones, settling heavily in the air. The real estate agent, Mrs. Hargrove, had laughed it off as a draft, but Clara could sense something more ancient, something waiting just beneath the surface. Days turned into weeks. They busied themselves painting walls and unpacking boxes, but the cold spots began to plague them. One morning, while setting the table for breakfast, Clara brushed her hand across the back of a chair, only for it to suddenly feel cold, as if someone had just occupied it. She drew her hand back, uncertainty pooling in her stomach, and glanced at her husband Henry, who had been staring at the chair, brow furrowed. "Did you feel that?" she asked. Henry shrugged, his eyes still locked on the chair. "Maybe it's the old wood." But Clara could hear the creaking floorboards too. At night the sounds grew more pronounced. Soft whispers seemed to curl through the air, and shadows flickered at the corner of her vision. Each time she turned to look, there was nothing, just the empty space where moments before she was certain she had seen something move. One evening, they decided to explore the attic, driven by a strange compulsion. Among the dust-covered boxes, Clara discovered an old rocking chair, its wood polished to a dull sheen, rocking steadily as if someone unseen were giving it a gentle push. She reached out to stop it, but as her fingers brushed the armrest, a wave of icy air surged across her face, and the air tasted bitterly of decay. "Henry," she called, her voice cracking, "come here." He hurried up the stairs, and when he saw the chair, his expression shifted from curiosity to dread. "That wasn't moving before, was it?" "No," she whispered, stepping backward. The chill had grown again, wrapping around her like a thick fog, and in that moment, the cold spots seemed to coalesce, as if forming a path reaching deep into the house. Compelled by a force they could neither explain nor resist, they followed the cold trail. It led them beyond the attic, down into the shadowy depths of the cellar. A damp earthiness clung to the air as they descended, and the walls felt alive, throbbing with an intense energy. The cold enveloped them, growing more oppressive with each step. At the end of the hallway, nestled within crumbling stones, lay a crude symbol, etched into the wall. A sigil they both recognized somehow, but couldn't place. "What does it mean?" Henry murmured, his breath visible in the icy air. Clara's heart raced as she traced her fingers over the lines, a chill sweeping through her as visions of a forgotten ritual briefly flashed in her mind. Shadows dancing, desperate pleas whispered to the wind, and the unmistakable smell of rot. And then she saw it, a figure coalescing from the darkness, its presence a perfect echo of the cold that had haunted them. It loomed silently, a watcher of the house they had unwittingly disturbed, and for a brief moment their aware eyes locked, filling Clara with an overwhelming dread. In that fleeting confrontation, she comprehended that they were not merely guests in this home, they were intruders, stepping into a space woven into the very fabric of despair. The couple fled the cellar, their hearts pounding, but the cold unrelenting at their heels. They quickly gathered essential belongings and fled the house that same night, refusing to look back. Days turned into weeks after their departure, yet the chill lingered, a distant memory and a warning. They eventually settled into a bright, sunny cottage far away, the warmth now comforting. But they often found themselves mentioning one thing, the cold in the Whitmore house, the whispers they could never quite understand. It wasn't just a sensation, it was a legacy, echoing through the layers of time, waiting for its next unwitting guest. And in the far recesses of the mind, Clara felt gratitude for their escape, but no small part of her feared that, in leaving, they had awakened something far darker hidden in the shadows, where perhaps the cold would always remain.